Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including the global reduction of Tesla's wait times, Giga Texas expanding and ramping, Tesla's solar neighborhood, the 600-mile EV taking on Tesla in a few months, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, with version 10.69.2.1 of the FSD beta, or actually make that last digit a 2, Tesla has officially opened it up to 60,000 more users. Previously, there were about 100,000 people in the FSD beta program, and Elon announced that they were opening this up to 160,000 total in the US and Canada. This is still very much considered a level 2 driver assist system, since the responsibility ultimately lies with the driver, and it is monitored through the driver monitoring system. The FSD beta program first launched nearly 2 years ago now, with just a few thousand people, so this is a long way from where it originally launched. Based on what Elon Musk said previously, this beta should be expanding this time to those with a driver safety score over 80. As always, keep in mind that this system is very much a beta, so if you're receiving it, make sure to be careful. The expansion means we'll likely see a lot of the beta get challenged in a lot of new ways, and see lots of complaints, but hopefully that leads to improvements in the system over time. Ultimately, Tesla is working on collecting as much real-world data as possible for their self-driving neural network, but Electrek reported this week that Tesla has been building a full simulation of parts of San Francisco to test out Autopilot and FSD. Back at AI Day in 2021, Tesla demonstrated their Autopilot simulation, explaining how they are using the data they collect from Autopilot cameras to create it. Now it has been reported that Tesla is focusing this simulation first on San Francisco, utilizing Unreal Engine. Tesla even recently hired environmental artists who have worked on popular games to help develop this simulation. The role is Autopilot rendering engineer, and says you will be working across teams to provide graphics technology that can create high-fidelity scenes and enables the faithful reproduction of Autopilot behavior in simulation. It's unclear what the full long-term implications of creating this simulation will do, but Elon has talked about it potentially informing or being used for a video game in the future. For now, it's a world simulation that they can test self-driving features within. Right as Tesla is expanding this beta, Xpeng has launched a new pilot program for their own city navigation pilot. They have a new Xpilot 4.0 system that enables this feature, and it's very similar to Tesla's FSD beta. However, Xpeng is fully embracing LiDAR to make their system function. An interesting piece here is that a former Tesla Autopilot engineer was actually sued by Tesla for stealing the Autopilot source code. Tesla claims he took it to Xpeng, where he now works, in order for them to create their system, which looks remarkably similar. In any case, Xpeng's NGP system has officially launched its pilot program in one city so far, and can do self-driving tasks like change lanes due to navigation or vehicle overtaking decisions, handle merging or splitting roads, overtake stationary vehicles or objects, automatically detect and react to traffic lights, take left or right turns and navigate through intersections, roundabouts, viaducts, and tunnels, and much more, just like the FSD beta. Xpeng's founder said, quote, "With the rollout of City NGP, Xpeng is spearheading a strategic roadmap to complete our ADAS coverage from highways and parking lots to much more complex city driving scenarios." This is first coming as an over-the-air update to the P5 in that area, but Xpeng plans to expand to other cities in the future. It's very interesting to see Xpeng expand here because they potentially based their system off of Autopilot, but dove all the way in on LiDAR, which Elon has called a fool's errand. Tesla is definitely ahead here, but Xpeng is also very confident in their own system. Neither system is autonomous yet. Next up today, arguably Tesla's most important new factory, Giga Texas, just completed production of their 10,000th Model Y. Tesla tweeted about it, saying 10,000 Model Ys built at Giga Texas to date on the 17th. This is definitely a big milestone for that factory, but it's clear that production isn't ramping as quickly as many hoped. It appears that the majority of these cars are built with 2170 cells, as 4680 production seems to have been put on the back burner for the time being. We only saw a handful of standard range 4680 Model Ys delivered from Texas before Tesla switched back to 2170 batteries out of that factory. The most recent reports of 4680 cells were that, quote, "They can produce in small volume, but when they started big volume production, Tesla ended up with many rejects, too many." At the same time, Tesla has been stockpiling 4680 packs, and the reasoning here is unclear. Some have speculated that this may be due to an issue with the packs that needs a remedy, while others feel they are simply storing them until it makes sense to produce 4680 cars at scale once again. It's more complicated than simply swapping packs, since Tesla 4680 cells are in a structural pack. Over at Giga Berlin, Tesla managed to build 1,000 cars in a week, a milestone there fairly recently, a few weeks ago, and recent reports have hinted at them reaching higher volume and aiming for 2,000 5,000 cars a week. Clearly, Texas is behind this milestone, with 10,000 Model Ys made in total there. It's important to keep in mind that Giga Texas is a new factory, so build quality may actually take time to catch up to other factories, but we'll have to see how things develop. Tesla recently revised their application for Giga Texas, which revealed a potential 500,000 square foot expansion there. They added 12 acres to the site's limits of construction, and Elon Musk said that this will be for their, quote, ecological paradise. He said, quote, ecological paradise plans from south portion of Giga Texas to river look great. However, we must first get the factory financially on its feet. Area from South Giga to river really will be next level, great, and open to public. Long-term goal is a boardwalk with amenities that goes all the way to downtown Austin so you can walk, bike, or kayak. In a follow-up question about Tesla renting out kayaks, Elon potentially hinted at a new product, saying maybe little electric Tesla boats with a retro-futuristic Victorian design. I personally think Tesla will never make these boats, and it's just an idea, but it's a pretty cool one regardless. That all sounds exciting for Giga Texas and should make that factory much more exciting than what it is now, but the most important piece there is what he said about getting the factory financially on its feet. Clearly, they aren't there yet, and they need to expand beyond current production capacities to get there. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of improvement throughout the next year. Next up today, a new 600-mile EV is on its way and is looking to challenge Tesla. CATL, one of Tesla's battery suppliers, but also the biggest battery supplier in the world for EVs, has announced their next generation battery. They say it has a 621-mile range and will debut early next year in 2 models made by Zeekr. Zeekr is a Chinese EV company, and they plan to first use this battery in the Zeekr 9. They call this the world's first electric luxury MPV, and plan for deliveries in the first quarter of 2023. This model will also achieve a range over 1,000 kilometers or 621 miles on a charge. Part of this range is achieved with CATL's cell-to-pack technology, which they say can deliver 13% more power than Tesla's 4680 cells. Quote, put simply, cell-to-pack tech skips a step. While usually EV cells are packed into modules, which are then laid into packs, the technology makes some technology leaps to ensure more monitoring and cooling and to make the modules unnecessary. The Zeekr is planned for China initially, and those 621-mile estimates are likely using the WLTP standard, which roughly translated to EPA could mean about 554 miles of range. Even with that lower number comparatively with the EPA, it's incredibly impressive. It would beat the longest range EV ever shipped, the Lucid Air, by over 30 miles, and beat Tesla's current longest range vehicle by about 150 miles. What remains to be seen is how scaling works here for Zeekr, but CATL is a reliable battery supplier to many. This could be a very important technology that leads to longer range EVs, but as always, as EVs are approaching or topping 600 miles of range, it begs the question, do we need that much range? Tesla has never shipped a car over 400 miles or so, and their focus is on vehicles with shorter ranges than this. Long term, they've talked about the Cybertruck getting 500 miles of range, which does make a lot of sense with the reduction of that range for towing. However, when someone talked about Tesla scaling a 500-mile range EV, Elon Musk said, quote, we could have made a 600-mile Model S 12 months ago, but that would have made the product worse in my opinion, as 99.9% of time you'd be carrying unneeded battery mass, which makes acceleration, handling, and efficiency worse. Even our 400+ mile range car is more than almost anyone will use. More range means more battery, which means you are carrying around a lot of unneeded battery anytime you drive your car. Then you can get 600 miles of range in the rare cases you need to actually travel long distances without stopping. Ultimately, in Tesla's view, a dependable long range with a dependable fast charging network is the better, smarter, scalable option. Tesla has their supercharger network, whereas other companies are reliant on third-party charging networks. As Kyle Connor said, it's all about the charging infrastructure. The cars are fine. So there are a few different approaches here, the fast charging approach and the incredibly long range approach. A certain combo of both seems to be most appealing. The good news with these companies like CATL and Zeekr pushing into 600-mile EVs, though, is that it can ease the concerns of those extremely worried about EV range in general. It also leads to better efficiency overall, which translates to EVs with smaller battery packs being that much more efficient. I think it'll be some time before we see a 600-mile Tesla, and they may opt to instead make twice as many cars with half the battery pack size and scale up charging infrastructure exponentially. Next up today, Tesla's vehicle wait times are decreasing globally. That means when you go to order a Tesla, you're no longer looking at sometimes upwards of a year-long wait. Some see this as a bad thing, while others see it as something that should worry Tesla's rivals. In the United States, when you order a Model Y, Tesla's estimates now show you potentially taking delivery delivery from December to April. For the standard range Model 3, they show October to December, with performance in October to November. The long range Model 3 will be available to order again in 2023. Over in China, the maximum delivery wait for the Model 3 and Y is 14 weeks, with some as low as 6 to 10 weeks. Previously, the long range Model Y there would show 16 to 20 weeks, and that's down to 10 to 14 for that spec. Tesla's reduced wait times could have to do with reduced demand as a result of price increases, but Elon Musk has talked specifically about reducing their lead times. On Tesla's Q2 2022 earnings call, he said, quote, "That's annoying. It'd be like go to a restaurant and you order a burger and you have to wait 3 hours and like you want to get your burger right away. Same with the car. So we want that lead time to reduce." Tesla has been doing this in a number of ways, but they just recently finished a capacity upgrade at Giga Shanghai, which allows them to make 22,000 Model 3s and Ys per week. That's around 3,000 vehicles per day, and they even have plans to expand beyond that, making 5,000 vehicles per day by the end of the year if all goes according to plan. That's a huge factor in these lead time reductions, but that's not the only factory they are scaling. They are also scaling up at Fremont constantly, increasing that capacity. In July, they updated their production capacities, showing a 50,000 vehicle increase in annual production there. They are also scaling Giga Berlin and Texas to get up to full speed at those new factories. On top of all of the scaling and price increases, another factor may be the impending tax credit. Tesla has been ineligible for a tax credit, but come 2023, the Model Y at the very least should qualify for a full $7,500 tax credit once again. Many could potentially be holding off their orders until this is in place, so they can ensure they take delivery in the timeline that qualifies for the credit. As an analyst from Piper Sanders said, quote, "As production ramps and wait times fall, we think Tesla will remain singularly capable of quickly meeting consumer EV demand at palatable price points. While other brands struggle to ramp production, Tesla will presumably start cutting prices, thereby boosting market share at everyone else's expense." Essentially, Tesla is going to be even more in a position where people who want an EV quickly can get one from Tesla. We'll see if and when they end up decreasing prices and how that affects their order backlogs. Next up today, a big part of Tesla that many people forget about is their energy business. They make solar panels, power walls, megapacks, and more, utilizing their expertise in general batteries and energy. Elon Musk has said of their energy business that, quote, "I think long-term, Tesla Energy will be roughly the same size as Tesla Automotive," but other times he's talked about it being bigger. It could be bigger, but it will certainly be of a similar magnitude. Solar panels on homes are becoming more and more of a no-brainer, and last year Tesla signed a deal to deploy solar systems in a new community. It's located in Austin, Texas, and the project was in partnership with Brookfield Asset Management and DACRA, offering these packages on brand new houses in a 12,000 home development called Easton Park. This has been underway for a while now, but things are officially ramping up with Tesla focusing on solar roof installations. That means that many of these homes will have Tesla solar roofs that look like a normal roof. Here's one of the first houses already featuring a solar roof and power walls. These homes for sale are specifically listed as including a Tesla solar package, and residents are finding it incredibly worthwhile. One owner said, "I did a cost-benefit analysis. I went to the Tesla site and put in the same characteristics of the house we're buying and what it would cost to add a Tesla roof. There's a big cost savings for getting it at install. I can generate passive income long-term by using the same energy-saving habits I already have." There he's talking about the excess energy he is generating that he doesn't need to use and can be sold back to the grid. Tesla has made a lot of moves in electricity in Texas, even planning to launch their own retail electricity business there, and it's showing all the ways they can expand. Their energy business will be a big part of their future and will become more and more relevant as electric cars become standard and people see the cost savings associated with powering them from the sun. We'll likely see many more projects like this in the future. Last up today, some updates about other automakers. Hertz announced this week that they put in another huge order of EVs, this time 175,000 of them from GM. They're starting with the Chevy Bolt EV and EUV in the first quarter of 2023 and will take it from there with the other vehicles GM has announced. This is big for EVs in general, and I'm curious to see how long it takes for GM to produce those. Kia plans to produce EVs in the United States in order to qualify for the revised EV tax credit. They plan to begin in 2024, and there isn't much more detail to report other than that. This is an example of the intent of this tax credit, which is limiting in certain ways bringing EV production into North America. Ram gave an update this week about their future electric plans. They said, quote, "According to our internal performance index, our Ram 1500 will outperform all competitors on the attributes customers care about most. range, towing, payload, charge time. They believe they can take on the competitors quickly once this comes to market in 2024. Rivian this week showed off their new all-electric fleet of mobile service vehicles. These are to service their growing deliveries of R1T and R1S vehicles. Not only are they turning the R1T into a service vehicle, creatively utilizing all of its storage, but they are converting their delivery van into service vehicles. This is the van they currently make for Amazon, but now they are utilizing it for their own mobile service. The latest update for my personal R1T is that it could be arriving sometime tomorrow in my general area, and then it will be 1 to 2 weeks of inspections, and then I should be able to schedule delivery fairly soon here. We'll see, and I'll keep you posted. Tesla AI Day number 2 is coming up on September 30th, and Elon recently said that, note, Autopilot/AI team is also working on Optimus and Actually Smart Summon/Autopark, which have end-of-month deadlines. Hopefully that means we'll see something pretty cool on AI Day, and I'll keep you posted. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the 10 mistakes to avoid when buying a Tesla, you can check out my video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.